உங்க டீச்சர்ஸ் இங்கிலீஷ்ல மார்க் எடுக்கதாங்க சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க. பேச எழுத சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்களா? சேர்ந்துடுங்க, 30 நாட்களில் கத்துக்கலாம். இல்லனா உங்க பணம் வாபஸ்.
சென்னை உயர்நீதிமன்ற விழாவில் உச்சநீதிமன்ற தலைமை நீதிபதி என்.வி. ரமணா உரையாற்றி வருகிறார்.
If any pronunciation is wrong, it goes to Rama Subramaniam. Because he always pulls my leg. Investigating intensely, leading fairly, without unduly favoring anyone, analyzing and acting constitute justice. This is the loosely translated version. The people of this country look up to the judiciary in times of distress. They firmly believe that their rights will be protected by the courts. It is necessary to contemplate how to improve the functioning of the judiciary, how to reach out to the people and fulfill their justice needs. This is precisely I have been a strong proponent of Indianization of the justice delivery system by Indianization. I mean molding the Indian judicial system for the benefits of Indian populace. It is a multi-dimensional concept. It calls for inclusivity, providing access to people to participate in the proceedings, removal of language barrier, reforms in practice and procedure, development of infrastructure, filling up of vacancies, augmenting the strength of the judiciary, and so on. I don't know how the Honorable Chief Minister came to know about my speech in advance, what that I am going to say. Infrastructure development forms one of the core ideas which the expanding economy and growth in population. The number of litigation is rising alarmingly, but there is a severe gap between the existing infrastructure and the projected justice needs of the people. Moreover, the existing infrastructure is so far being inclusive for all. Ever since I have assumed this office, strengthening the judicial infrastructure, both in terms of manpower and physical infrastructure, has been on the top of my priorities. My career involved practicing from the magistrate court to the Supreme Court. I am deeply aware about the problem being faced by the judges, advocates, and the litigants. Court functioning is greatly inhibited due to lack of infrastructure, both physically and personally. While as certain states, including Tamil Nadu, have been actively working to augment their judicial infrastructure, and I wholeheartedly welcome the measures which the Honorable Chief Minister now announced. I thank him for taking all the steps which he has taken up. I am also very happy that he is taking several welfare measures to protect the advocates community. Thank you, Mr. Chief Minister. Several states are their need for immediate action. This is the reason why I am championing judicial infrastructure authorities, both at national and state levels, which will implement the National Court Development Project. I have already sent a comprehensive proposal in this regard to the Government of India, which is pending with the Government of India. Another correlated issue is that the filling of judicial vacancies, as well as increasing the sanction strength of judges. This is necessary to reduce the caseload for judge and improve the judge to population ratio. It is my duty to bring to the notice of the public about the present condition of the judges' vacancies. As on today, out of 1,104 sanctioned posts of the High Court judges across the country, there are 388 vacancies. From day one, it has been my endeavor to fill judicial vacancies. In fact, my very first communication to the Chief Justices of the High Court was to request them to expedite the process of recommending names for elevation. Due to collective efforts at all levels, we could make considerable progress in the filling of the judicial vacancies. After I assumed office, we made 180 recommendations so far for appointment in the High Courts. Out of these, 126 appointments were made. 54 proposals are awaiting for approval before the government. The government has received nearly 100 proposals from various high courts, which is yet to be transmitted to the Supreme Court. I am hoping that the high courts will expedite the process of sending the proposals to fill the remaining 212 vacancies. Another issue I want to discuss is that of the language used in the courts. The common citizen of this country cannot relate to the practices, procedures, and language of our courts. Our efforts should be connected in making the general population an active part of the justice delivery process. The parties must understand the ongoing process and development of the case. It should not be like chanting mantras in a wedding, which most of us do not understand. From time to time, there have been demands from various regions to allow the use of local language in the proceedings before the High Courts as provided for under Article 348 of the Constitution. A lot of debate has taken place on this subject. There are certain barriers that have prevented local languages being adopted in the proceedings before the High Courts. I am sure within innovation of the science and technology, the advancements such as artificial intelligence, some of the issues associated with the introduction of languages in High Courts may be solved in the near future. The practice of law before constitutional courts should be based on one's intelligence and understanding of law and not mere proficiency in language. It is time for some decisions to be taken on this issue after assessment of the pros and cons. Inclusivity is one of the most important dimensions of unionization. Any profession having representation from all classes and sections will be beneficial to all. I have been a strong proponent of higher representation of women at all levels of the legal profession. Speaking of women particularly, we need women from all classes and all sections to find a place within the judicial system. As Mahakavi Bharati said more than a century back, and I quote, Anum pennum nigarana kolladal arivi longi yavayam talaikkumam. That means the world will prosper in knowledge and intellect if both men and women are deemed equal. Inclusivity does not stop only representation of women. The social and geographical diversity of the nation must find a reflection in all levels of the judiciary. With the widest possible representation, people get to feel that it is their own judiciary. Everyone has a voice in the system, and they form a substantial part of it. In fact, we are awaiting a day where persons' gender, orientation, birth, or identity would not act as a barrier. For example, a judge from a rural background is better placed to appreciate issues concerning the rural population. A judge from a particular region understands the issues of that area better. A judge from marginalized section understands the issues of marginalized better. Another aspect of inclusivity relates to the geographical barriers faced by both litigants and lawyers while appearing before the constitutional courts. A member of this bar, senior advocate and parliament member, Sri Wilson, was introduced a private member's bill to enable setting up of regional benches of the Supreme Court. I am not aware if the Government of India has expressed its view on this subject, but in the same spirit of accessibility, I have, in consultation with my brother and sister judges in the Supreme Court, continued the online hearing of miscellaneous days which we had started during the pandemic. On non-miscellaneous days, advocates can still seek the permission of the court to appear online. This has enabled advocates from all over the country to continue their practice before Supreme Court. I hope this practice will continue and strengthen in the future also. Now, majority of the advocates across the country, they are appearing online and arguing their own cases. The Bar Council of India and state bar associations have taken several steps to eliminate conditions of the lawyers during the pandemic. Now the Chief Minister has announced and distributed some checks also. Soon after taking over of Chief Justice of India, I had also taken up this and a host of other issues with the Honorable Law Minister. I appreciate the efforts of Tamil Nadu government for extending a helping hand for the cause of lawyers. I would like to compliment the Chief Minister who is working hard for the bright future of the state. Chief Justice Bandari informs me the Chief Minister and the government are extremely cooperative in this effort to strengthen the judiciary.
சென்னை உயர்நீதிமன்றத்தில் நீதிமன்ற கட்டடங்கள் திறப்பு மற்றும் நாமக்கல், விழுப்புரம் ஆகிய மாவட்டங்களில் ஒருங்கிணைந்த நீதிமன்ற வளாகங்கள், நீதிமன்ற அலுவலர்கள் குடியிருப்பு கட்டடம் மற்றும் நிதியுதவி வழங்கும் விழா என அனைத்தும் ஒன்று சேர நடைபெற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. உயர்நீதிமன்ற கூட்ட அரங்கில் சென்னையில் முதலமைச்சர் முதலில் பேசினார். தற்பொழுது என் வி ரமணா பேசியிருக்கிறார். தமிழ் வழி உதித்த தெலுங்கு மொழியை தனதாக கொண்ட ஆந்திராவில் பிறந்த தலைமை நீதிபதி என் வி ரமணா தமிழ் மொழியை மிகவும் போற்றியிருப்பதன் வாயிலாக தானும் பூரிப்படைந்திருக்கிறார். பின்வரும் செய்திகளில் விரிவாக பார்க்கலாம். இணைந்திருங்கள்.
உங்க டீச்சர்ஸ் இங்கிலீஷ்ல மார்க் எடுக்க தாங்க சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க. பேச எழுத சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்களா? சேர்ந்துடுங்க, 30 நாட்களில் கத்துக்கலாம். இல்லனா உங்க பணம் வாபஸ்.